Good day, everyone. This is Marjanah and Matuan, and I am going to discuss about the week 6 and 7th unit learning outcome, letter B. And at the end of this particular lesson, the students are expected to identify the tools used in diagnosis and assessment, and of course, the techniques for intervention in language learning disabilities. So before we proceed to the proper discussion of this topic, let me give you first the definition of the key terms in this topic. First is diagnosis. This is an evaluation used to detect students' learning difficulties which are not revealed by formative tests or checked by remedial instruction and other instructional adjustments. While the definition of assessment is the systematic collection, review, and use of information about educational programs undertaken for the purpose of improving student learning and development. Now, let us discuss further what is a diagnostic evaluation. For English teachers and speakers of other languages, a diagnostic test is a valuable tool which can be used to support the teacher as well as the student. Diagnostic evaluation, also referred to as pre-assessment, happens at the beginning of a learning process. So this diagnostic evaluation is designed to show the individual strengths and needs of a student or group of students in relation to the learning to come. Diagnostic tests have this baseline data that can be used to evaluate new learning and track the progress of the students. So, with that being said, what do we think is the purpose of diagnostic tests? Of course, diagnostic tests are very useful in helping the teacher plan lessons and resources, in helping to gauge the students' level and whether the course suits well, and in letting the students know what language areas they need to develop. Diagnostic assessment enables a teacher to first establish students' prior knowledge and backgrounds. So like having information about the educational context a learner already has before they learn new information. So because of this, teachers can focus and plan their next teaching process. Second is the teacher can identify misconceptions. Diagnostic assessments can provide the instructors about the students' misconceptions before beginning a learning activity, which will be corrected by the teacher based on the diagnostic assessment results of the students. Third is the teacher can make informed planning decisions. Having the diagnosis will give the teacher trustworthy sources of information about the student's track that will result in him feeling confident in designing his lessons again. So, the question here is, what might diagnostic assessment involve? Diagnostic assessment for learning languages may involve, first, reviewing previous school and or teacher assessment information. Second, giving a pretest to establish students' knowledge and skill in relation to one or more of the three learning languages strands. Third, interviewing students about or in the target language to determine their skills and confidence. Fourth, giving students a practical task, example, giving them a speaking or reading task. We have also assessing both receptive and productive skills by asking a student to talk to another student in the target language. For example, asking the students to share their insights and feelings about a film they have both seen. It may be in a form of essay, oral recitation, and any other possible activities. Also, Diagnostic assessment may involve designing a cooperative learning task. For example, an information gap task that will enable you to simultaneously assess the capabilities of several students. Also, it may involve questioning to probe students' knowledge and skills. Students self-assessing their confidence and proficiency on specified aspects of language learning. For example, communicating appropriately in different situations. Now, let us proceed to the significance of diagnosis. Diagnostic assessments will show the teacher what the students know and the English language they don't learn. So, what students know and don't know about the English language, to be specific, is very important for a teacher to evaluate these details, because these assessment test results can be a valuable tool that can help the instructor in developing successful lessons and resources that meet the course's learning goals and needs of his or her students. For example, if the teacher had the expectation that students would be able to use the present perfect tense in a given situation, but most students were unable to use such a form correctly in the class, the teacher might schedule a lesson at the beginning of the course to review this content. If a certain topic is already familiar or the students are already mastered to this certain topic, it will give more time for those language areas that haven't yet discussed, or other language areas that students find it difficult to learn or understand. There are also other benefits of diagnostic tests. Another explanation why a diagnostic test is so relevant for the English language instructor is that it will assess the student's suitability for the course. So, a student's diagnostic test results will show whether or not the course suits the student's English level. For example, after the students have completed a diagnostic test, the teacher may realize that one student for his or her class is far below the expected level of English. As a result, the instructor or counseling staff at the school or organization will take this student aside to decide more formally if the class is really a good match for them. So, the benefit of diagnostic tests to the student. Diagnostic assessment will help students understand what areas of English they are competent in and what areas they need to be improving on. Basically, providing the student with knowledge of their own English skills is beneficial, as it includes the student in his or her own learning progress in language. So with those given significances and benefits of diagnostic tests, indeed, diagnostic test is a valuable tool because it can provide a stable foundation that can positively and efficiently impact the direction of the rest of the course. So we are now on the tools for assessment of disabilities in language learning. So first on the list are the intelligence tests, or often called as the IQ test. It is most commonly used to diagnose learning disability, include the Wechsler Preschool and Primary Scale of Intelligence, Wechsler Intelligence Scale for Children, and the Wechsler Adult Intelligence Scale. So findings from these tests, the IQ tests, can help pinpoint areas of strength and weakness. With this information, schools can often suggest educational options or offer special support. Another are the achievement tests. So these are used to diagnose a learning disability, include the Woodcock-Johnson test of achievement, the Wechsler Individual Achievement Test, the Wide Range Achievement Test, and the Kaufman Test of Educational Achievement. So these tests, achievement tests, focus on reading, writing, and math. If your child has fallen behind in a particular academic area, schools can offer remedial support, tutoring, and other tools to help your child catch up. We have also visual motor integration tests, include the Bender Visual Motor Gestalt test and the developmental test of visual motor integration. So findings from these tests may help to determine if a child's brain is properly connecting visual cues to motor coordination. In other words, yes, they are able to draw what they see. If they are having a difficult time integrating visual and motor skills, it will be very tough for them to learn to write or draw properly without special support. Lastly, we have language tests. Language tests are used in the diagnosis of learning disabilities. It includes the clinical evaluation of language fundamentals, the Goldman-Fristow test of articulation, and the test of language development. So basically, these tests explore your child's ability to understand spoken and written language and to respond verbally to questions. We have also standard IQ tests for adults. Yes. So the intelligent quotient or IQ is intended to include an observable intellectual ability ranking. So it assesses different forms of intelligence and cognitive competencies through both verbal and non-verbal questioning. So typically, speed of thought, the memory, testing the understanding and comprehension, these are the main focus. These are the things that are assessed in this test. For non-verbal assessment naman, they are often used for test takers who do not perform well on standardized exams or who have a psychological or cognitive disability diagnosis. If we are going to encounter students or children whose focus appears to drift or who never seems to be with the rest of the class, we can take these ideas that can benefit us in ways. Ideas for attention deficit children. As a teacher, stand close to an inattentive child and touch him or her on the shoulder as you are teaching. Walk around the classroom as the lesson is progressing and tap the place in the child's book that is currently being read or discussed. Decrease the length of assignments or lessons. Alternate physical and mental activities. Increase the novelty of lessons by using films, tapes, flashcards, or small group work, or by having a child call on others. Lastly, incorporate the children's interests into a lesson plan. We have also strategies for cognitively impulsive children. So this is for those kids who have trouble keeping up with the job at hand. A teacher can provide as much positive attention and recognition as possible. So it can help us recognize the early communication needs of our students. We can display small gestures such as cuddling. We can smile at them, talk to them. You can easily communicate with baby and bring warmth in your relationship. Second, get in a habit of pausing 10 to 16 seconds before answering. Yes, using a well-known story, having the class orally recite it as a chain story. When introducing a new topic in any academic area, have the children generate questions about it before providing them with much information. Lastly, evaluate your own tempo as a teacher. So those are just some of the techniques, strategies, and ideas for intervention for those students who have language learning disabilities. So thank you so much. This has been Marjanah and Matuan. Have a nice day.